loading snacks.
Hey, we live.
Of course we are, and we must say to the people, what it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's. It's your boy Gage. You are tuned in to Loading Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and talk about things that are happening in pop culture. I have jokes in the building.
Yo, yo.
I have Sin in the building.
Sir?
And today,
And today, apparently, according to Ellis, Batman was here. Already.
I mean, look, Batman's always here, but he's also always not a superhero. We can get it popping today. I'm in that kind of a mood. Don't start with me. Start with me. Look, man, we got a lot to discuss today. There's a lot that happened, and I'm gonna tell you the funny thing about it is, last week was Comic-Con online, and so initially my thoughts were, oh man, there's gonna be so much Comic-Con online stuff to talk about. Boy, we gonna be nope.
Not really.
No.
Not really.
No.
Nah.
No, not even.
No.
Comic-Con online last week was probably the weakest transition to an online con I've ever seen. For real. Like the amount, like there was a lot of, hey, the cast of so and so is getting together and having a discussion. Hey, so and so is having a discussion. But as far as like real, like newsworthy announcements and stuff that was happening,
nothing
wasn't there, man. Like the biggest joints was like, oh, there is in fact a dope toy you can get or a figure you can get that is exclusive, but not really exclusive because it's not really a physical thing that's happening. So I just want to say that I was a little bit disappointed with Comic-Con online. However, shout out to those brilliant, fantastic, and wonderful artists and so forth that had sales running. We saw folks that we know well, like Penny Gaylord and Jerry Gaylord and Brian Turner and folks so forth running sales or whatever. If you didn't have a chance to check those out, go back and check them out. Hopefully you might be able to get in like right on the tail end or whatever those sales were, but saw some dope art and so forth. So on that note, we are back to discussing something that we have discussed a multitude of times over the last couple of months. This is Loading Snacks Pandemic Radio right now. We are back at it. And here's what's popping. So today, literally today, there was an announcement made about AMC and Universal coming to a deal about video on demand. Let me preface this. We have had multiple discussions in the past about what is happening to AMC as a company / corporation, as the largest theater chain, in terms of what is going on with COVID, them being forced to shut doors, and really even before that happened, there being some issues with where their money is, right? And so they have been able to renegotiate some of their contracts and so forth so that they are no longer quite looking at bankruptcy. Obviously not being able to open back up and so forth right away is having an effect on them. One that, in my opinion, made them have to shut their mouth and reevaluate the big talk they were talking when we talked about this last time, and Universal was like, oh, yeah, we just about to go video on demand. They were like, no, you're not.
Whoa. Hold up.
Yeah.
You ain't doing that.
Yeah.
Not if we got anything to say about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have a little something to say about it, but let's just kind of cover what's happening here, gentlemen. I know, Jokes, that you've had a chance to see this. Sid, did you take a look at this article at all? Did you see this?
Yeah, I started to look at it and I got pulled away. I didn't get a chance to fully go through it all like that, but I am definitely interested because this was funny when it.
Here's what we're looking at. Essentially, the deal has been put in place that there will be shared revenue between AMC and Universal when it comes to video on demand. And that Universal now can start premium video on demand within 3 weeks of a theatrical release date. Okay? It is important to note premium video on demand, because premium VOD means like $20 or more to rent. Okay. We're not talking the $3 to $6 rental. We're not even talking about being able to sell the film digitally for purchase. We're just talking about a limited time $20 video on demand,
right?
20 or more. What that also means, basically, as far as the terms of it are concerned, it does mean that they are allowed to go to a $3 or $6 or sell the film after the 3-month mark, which has been relatively typical. Generally, they can't do anything like that until at least 3 months after the theatrical release, and sometimes that gets renegotiated or worked out depending on how well a film is continuing to do in the theaters, or what have you. But the idea that AMC will share in revenue of that $20 VOD is probably the biggest deciding factor in where we are as far as I have questions about how you gentlemen think this will affect things going forward. I'm going to start with you, Sin. Talk to me briefly about that.
Well, I've been one saying that stop playing around and just start giving us this stuff and stop holding on to it for so long. So I'm glad that talks have been happening and they're getting it done, and we're about to start finally getting this content. I think depending on how it works out for AMC and Universal, I think other chains might follow suit, like Lowe's. I'm about to say Lowe's, but I ain't been in the movie theater so long, I forgot everybody else but AMC. But other movie chains,
Regal.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking of. But I think other chains will start to follow suit if it works out for Universal and AMC. I think they'll probably wait to see.
Looking in the chat, and I'm saying, Jay Roberts says, "Are they going to mail popcorn to us?" No, but I would be. I listen. Do not imagine for a moment that there will not be AMC branded microwave popcorn that begins to show up in your stores, sir. Yep. I mean, I'm just saying, if Starbucks can sell you coffee, not at a Starbucks.
Hey,
very true.
AMC and Regal can sell you popcorn.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. What's up, Alfonso? Ellis is asking, is Tenet a Universal film? It is not. Nope. It is a Warner Brothers film, and I have things to say about that. We're going to get to that in a minute. We're going to talk about Tenet for sure. Jokes, what are you thinking? How are you feeling about this change? What do you think it means for the future going forward?
Yeah, I'm happy they were able to come to some type of agreement. I do think right now, in the time that we're in, just because everything is really still uncertain, I really wish there was a way that they would have still shortened that video on demand release, because as of right now, we're still kind of sitting in that boat where I don't think anything is going to still be coming out right now. But
when you say shorten that release, you mean shorten the amount of time between when it comes out in the theater and when it can go VOD?
Right. Because, I mean, 3 weeks, like, right now the issue is AMC getting their theaters open here in the States is, honestly, it's not going to happen anytime soon, at least what we're looking at. They keep pushing the days back. I know overseas they're looking to do some of these theater openings or whatnot ever. But over here, it's still not looking like it's going to happen anytime soon. I definitely think future-wise, I think it's a good thing to do where, let's say a year's time, we get back to some normal, like I don't even want to call it normal anymore, depending on when we get to it, but when we are safely able to go in a theater without having to really truly worry about anything, which honestly may not happen, I'm cool with that being that 3 week period. Still going to the theater. For some people, I know some people will wait that 3 weeks and just let it show up on video on demand and rent it at home. and do it. Like I still, for me, like if when an MCU movie or something like that comes out, I really want to go to the theater to actually see it.
Right.
So, but future wise, I think down the road, I think this is a good outline to work with. Um, I just don't know when they will fully be able to implement that because I don't see at least for another, I want to say a few months before if they even open up a theater here.
Rep for 2020.
I would
Just throw it away.
I would wager they haven't given the specific dollar amounts,
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't given obviously all of the details of what the term of the deal are. Stuff like that is going to remain relatively under wraps, if for no other reason than AMC needs to be able to stay flexible as far as their ability to negotiate with
Absolutely.
other production houses
Mhm.
when they come to the table to say they want to do the same things, like a Warner Brothers or a Disney or whoever else decides that they may want to go that route. So, and I'm telling you to rest assured that others are going to go that route.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right, saying other theater chains are absolutely going to do this because, again, with AMC being the big dog, having the most theaters, they're the biggest theater chain there is. Everybody else is free to follow suit, and Universal being one of the biggest production houses, everybody else is free to follow suit. So they're going to. Other folks will be coming to the table to negotiate these deals and these contracts, and where they end up based on the amount of time they're allowed to have between releases and the amount of money that AMC gets for a video on demand release or something along those lines. Obviously something they need to be able to work out. It's interesting to me that Universal is really playing ball at all with AMC. I mean, I think, look, I guess you got to play ball in some manner, but when AMC is basically going to have nothing to do that I can see with the actual release of the video on demand part of it, other than the fact that they would be losing money, which in turn does mean that Universal loses some money, right? Because there is money to be made
Definitely
in ticket sales, just not really for the theater, and the theater knows that.
Yeah,
So
all of them are losing money right now. At least this way, we're getting something back.
correct, but it almost means to me that this was kind of a forced thing that had to be based on the need to renegotiate a contract that already existed. That, AMC is supposed to have a certain amount of time, again, that normal 3-month time before you can go to video on demand, and weren't willing to give that up if they weren't willing to give them some sort of compensation to help make up the difference on their end. So that's really the only thing that I can think of, where this is. And I would imagine that as big as these corporations are and as good as their lawyers ought to be, that they have worked in some level of negotiation about, hey, coronavirus is still popping. If you're not able to open on the dates that we've discussed like you think you're going to because the government says so or because the virus said so, then we can do video on demand sooner than, or whatever. We can go to Trolls route or whatever, and, we'll negotiate what that money will be. And it's probably different amounts of money for different types of films.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? For ones that are labeled or expected to be a major blockbuster versus something that's not.
I was going to ask, what's the most that y'all would spend on a video on demand for something you wanted to see?
So here's the thing. It depends on the movie.
That's what I was going to say.
It absolutely depends on the movie. It depends on the movie and how bad I want to see it. And it depends on how comfortable I am personally with going to the theater. Because demand for seeing the movie and whether or not I'm willing to risk going to the theater to see the movie absolutely has everything to do with what movie it is. You understand what I'm saying? There are movies who is like, I'm not. There are movies that I'm willing to wait the regular amount of time under regular circumstances to see it without going to the theater. So you got to know now when you're talking, I only go to the theater for major blockbusters, MCU stuff like that for the most part anyway. So if you're talking about one of those, I mean, really, I think it depends on how laid out the plans are. Like, if I can see, all right, they're going to do video on demand, and I need to be in the zeitgeist. I'm not regular people. This is the kind of thing that we have to be able to come on here and talk about in the moment. So being at the forefront of it, being able to talk about it as it's happening and so forth is important enough to me that, like, if they were like, it's $30, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay. 40?
No. Don't get me wrong. I
For-
mean, that amount, like, that
40.
typically is the amount that you can spend going to the theater, like, if you're buying concessions and all that. Like,
Typically for who? Typically for you?
oh no,
Typically for me?
no. Yeah, I know. For me,
40
no,
is
I'm talking for like a typical like couple going to the. Trust me, I know when you roll to the theater, you roll deep. So it's like you roll with a credit card.
Y'all like roll deep
Roll with the
everywhere I
credit
go,
card.
bro.
Facts.
Like, but yeah,
Ellen said he paid $30 to see a Disney flick. He still saved money by eating at home.
no, I agree with that. We make a full course dinner and
Yeah.
everything at home.
Jay
yeah.
Roberts
Sit
is
there like it's a
25
famous
to
like
rent.
Okay.
Marvel or Mission
she
Impossible,
was
like
thinking, okay.
specifically Mission Impossible? Like why
Hey,
why is
it's,
it Mission Impossible?
look, that's his thing. You know what I mean? That's like me and Fast. I paid for Fast, so
oh, you gonna risk it all for fast.
and look,
He gonna risk it all
Look.
for fast.
look, you talking to somebody? Hey, you talking to somebody who still barely leaves the apartment because I ain't trying to catch this stuff. I have to think real.
You
real
gonna get it
hard.
on account of Fast and Furious.
Man, look at him. He look at his face. It'll be worth it.
Hey, look,
Have my test ready as soon as I come out the theater.
It might be one of the ones where I look like, let me buy all 4 of these seats up so nobody's there.
Bro, you better buy you gotta buy
No,
4 seats in front of you, 4 seats next to you, because you need to have yourself in a little bubble. You gotta have that bubble.
My proposal says 30. I mean, it says 20. And, you know,
Okay.
I mean, look, again, I think that's part of what it is, though. I think, look, this is the kind of thing that is so new
Mm-hmm.
and unprecedented that they're going to test pricing.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
And I think they're going to adjust pricing based on what the demand seems like it is, how big of a deal it seems like it is, and they're going to test it and see what happens.
Yeah.
On that note, let's talk about Tenet for a minute. Because as we have talked about this scenario and this situation many times before, about moving to streaming platforms, video on demand, you know, all that kind of stuff. What we've even discussed what theaters are like here in the US and how important it is to try to get that full international release, because even if theaters open somewhere else, they may not be open here.
Mm-hmm.
What we haven't discussed, okay, in this specifically, is how releasing the film internationally before it hits here will affect their dollars based on piracy.
I was about to say.
Hey, look.
Piracy.
Hey, look. If y'all release that thing over there first, I will be.
It's gonna be a
safe.
problem. It's gonna be a problem.
So here's
I will be safe.
the thing. So there was an article I read on Variety like earlier in the week talking about how the planned international release for Tenet might force them to have to do video on demand here.
Soon, yeah. I agree with that.
Specifically because of piracy and spoilers.
Yep.
When you're talking about a movie like Tenet, where literally all of the advertising is based in the secrecy and the, you know, of like, what is going on? What the heck is Tenet?
Like a lot of his,
Are they
those
traveling
movies.
through
do.
time? No,
Yeah.
not really. What? When your entire ad campaign is based on that, the moment people know what it is, it's over, bro.
Yeah, because they're gonna decide. You know what? It ain't for me. I ain't going.
Right online. Spoiler boys,
It's
stay
over.
out there.
Now you look at what happened with The Last of Us 2 and all of the ridiculousness that happened online because that leaked early. That wasn't even released. That was a straight up hack, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
the right now, they are planning an August 26th release internationally. Well, I shouldn't say they're a foreign release,
Okay.
not completely international.
Got it.
That is right now. That puts us like 4 weeks prior from what they would do internationally as far as release,
Right.
and 5 weeks prior from what is currently planned for September 3rd for release, going into Labor Day here in the U.S., which is traditionally a huge, huge weekend for movies in the U.S. It just is. If you put that movie out 5 weeks before it hits here, the
It's not gonna work.
pirates will be rampant,
Look,
and the spoilers are going to happen.
the Pirates, they don't play with that stuff overseas. I'm talking like the second something drops, it'll be up in full HD, Blu-ray in like a week and a half.
People
Like
operating
they
the
don't
cameras
play.
over there getting it. They just hooking their stuff right up to it and just downloading however they do it. It's like
They
they ain't playing.
You're right, Jay Roberts. They definitely could. It will probably force WB's hand. At Paramount too.
Ella said the sound bar and surround system sales will be out of control.
And listen, it's a fact, and it wouldn't surprise me if they're already up because people are at home and they are looking for ways to continue to enjoy this kind of stuff at home in the best / newest ways they possibly can. I know TV sales are up, so yes, soundbar and surround sound system sales are going to go up as well. And if you think, no doubt, and if you think that we will have theaters that are not still open all the way and new game systems coming out isn't going to push surround sound when PlayStation 5 is like, oh yeah, we doing this new 3D surround thing, blah blah, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's absolutely gonna be a thing. And it is going to continue to change the landscape, especially when those game systems are also going to continue to be ways that people can consume this stuff. They can get that video on demand and what have you. So here's what's crazy. In that
Dog, he did it again. He's speaking facts. He's speaking facts.
AMC Universal, like, if you don't shut the hell up.
Dog, he telling the plans out there.
Every time.
Hey y'all, it's exclusive. Loading Snacks is uncovering this stuff before it actually hits actual mainstream.
And yes,
reviews.
Alfonso, they need to release New Mutants ASAP and stop playing with us. That movie is so old by this point. Like,
New Mutants should have been out. New Mutants. I'm sorry. For Comic-Con, I was really expecting them to come out and say, by the way, New Mutants is available. Consume it on whatever
Disney Plus today, like just
whatever platform is going to be on.
Yeah, like.
But
I knew you was gonna say that, Alice, that he lost a G. I knew you was gonna say that.
Well, while we're waiting for him to come back, let's quickly talk about that. I'm sure Gabe's going to get to it, but at this point now, New Mutants just needs to come out. Like, I don't know what it is that they're trying to hold on to, because the next thing is going to happen is somehow they're going to go left and they're just going to try to cancel this movie. Like when we all thought it was actually.
They can't cancel at this point because they did have something during what's the name over the weekend, right? During Comic-Con. They had something there.
They had a panel just to
so I mean, they're
still
still pushing it, promoting it. They better drop it. They better not cancel it.
They
better not cancel it.
It should have been here.
Yeah.
Hey, dog, New Mutants should already be out.
That's what
that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
I know. Oh, I know. Yeah, man. Look, they're talking about the possibility of Tenet being $30 video on demand upon release.
I'm not mad at that.
Okay.
I'd actually
because VOD normally does about a quarter of what theatrical sales usually do. And so at $30, let's say it did 100 million in the theater, it could pull in 80 million. It could pull in 80 million. And then the idea that they could do a $30 video on demand for a short period of time, 2 weeks, a month, then go to a $20 and only give you the $20 if you sign up for HBO Max.
That could be facts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or something like that. Or if you're a member, then you have access to get it for $20 or something like that. And then go to a regular $20 or whatever for everybody else sometime after that. prior to finally deciding that, yeah, we'll go ahead and do rentals and whatever. And this is the kind of thing that could change the landscape of the way that we consume.
Ooh.
I mean, look, streaming is already changing that, right? So, this whole thing about Guillermo del Toro still trying to do or wanting to do a Frankenstein movie that he believes should be a trilogy, no, sir. No, sir.
That should just be a one-off thing. Bring it out, like do it well. It's one of those you just hit it, and then you just move on.
Just leave it alone.
I mean, look, his thought process behind it is because of the way the book is done. Like, you need to really be able to do it in 3 parts that show it from 3 different perspectives. But really, you could realistically do that in a multi-part, straight to Netflix.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
you can do that in one season of a Netflix show, 8 episodes. You can do that.
Right. Doesn't even have to be right. Exactly. Like it doesn't have to be done the way that things have traditionally been done. And as that landscape continues to change and studios continue to see dollars come in from those subscriptions, it's going to change what people would normally risk spending the money to put into a theater in the first place.
Right.
Because the risk on the return is much higher with a theatrical run than it is if you're just going to a streaming service. Because with a streaming service, you're already paying for it. There is a much higher likelihood that you're going to at least tune in and watch the first episode. You know what I mean? Or whatever. We don't really get the full data we'd like to be able to see. Obviously, they can see it. But, like, if they say, The Witcher received, 1 million streams over the first weekend or whatever, we don't know how many of those people started watching the first episode and then were like, this joint's garbage. And turned it off.
Just dumped off, right.
It's still a stream. You know what I mean? When you look at the way that this stuff works, when you're looking at 1 second views versus 3 second views versus 1 minute views versus 3 minute views versus 10 minute views.
You still watched and you viewed it. So, hey, we're going to talk that up as a one. All of it is being
calculated and weighed differently by different, companies and whatever. And you don't necessarily really know what that means. You just know that they're using those numbers to say to marketing companies like, hey, look what we did.
Hey, 1 million views. I mean?
So,
hey.
So it's definitely, the landscape is definitely different. And sure, I suppose somebody could pay for a ticket to go to the theater and watch the first 20 minutes of the movie and then be like, this is dumb, I'm leaving. Even if they walked out to the stand and said, to the booth and said, I want my money back, this is dumb, and they were willing to give them their money back, it's still a sale.
Right, it's already done.
Right? I mean, they're probably not going to give them their money back. Probably what they're going to do is they're going to give them a pass to come see another movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because what they want to do is keep you in their theater, coming back to their theater and spending your money. Now you're coming to see a free movie, which the theater's like, we don't really make money on this anyway.
Buy this
come get this popcorn.
Buy this candy. Buy this soda.
Right.
You got steel 10 for you. Buy this popcorn.
Listen, you know what, J. Robert? I don't know if I think that Guillermo del Toro. Remember
that? That's a flashback right there.
That's an inside joint. That's old inside joint.
Dub that.
I think that his visual style could certainly be used for a Frankenstein, for a version of Frankenstein that follows the book. Like, I don't know if it should still be considered Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but I think he could do it. I wouldn't care. I'm not real into his work, so to speak. I like some of it, but I'm also not that into Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that Universal still seems to, in some capacity, want to do
this monster universe thing that they've been trying to figure out for 10 years now or something, like.
Yeah. What? Like. Yeah. Let's not.
Yeah.
Do. I mean, they tried. They put Tom Cruise at the helm and was like, "Let's do the Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a Frankenstein. Let's get a Dracula. Let's pop it off.
Let's do one. Like, all right, but
yeah, let's do this. Universal Monsters Cinematic Universe. no, let's not do that. That
Right.
just sounds like a really bad idea.
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
everything can't be like DC
You know,
and Marvel and stuff like that. Like every franchise doesn't work for that model.
I know they want to try it,
you're
but
right.
it ain't gonna work.
Yeah. And that's not even a franchise. They just pull all the classic monsters together and make a universe with them.
I know.
Stop.
Like it's not even insane. Like, it's not like
Well,
like.
I don't know if I'd say that. I think that they're. I mean, as a whole, like Frankenstein is absolutely a franchise. Like there are books and more books and retellings. They use them in comic books. There's a Frankenstein in Darkstalkers. Darkstalkers. Like you know what I mean. Like there is a franchise there. Dracula as a whole
Dracula's in everything.
is a franchise. You know what
I'm
I'm saying?
talking about having them all in that, like trying, like putting them all in that one thing and making like a
Making them
like,
one universe.
yeah, like they didn't come together as one universe. They're just trying to put them all together and make them one universe.
Dracula versus
You know,
Frankenstein.
I'm gonna tell you my honest to goodness opinion is that the only way, maybe not the only way, but probably the best way to actually be able to pull like Wolfman, Invisible Man, Dracula, Frankenstein, like all into one cohesive thing, you have to use Scooby Doo.
I mean,
I was
technically
gonna say
they've done.
I
They've
was gonna say
technically,
Van Helsing, but okay.
Scooby's technically done that already because like throughout the years,
In
I mean,
cartoon.
the majority of them have actually been featured in one of the series in one way or another. Like the original Scooby Doo,
Correct.
I know. Let's see. I definitely know. Frankenstein has been. I mean, Frankenstein was basically one of the monsters that was kind of based off that they created. Like they used a lot of them as catalysts for the masked villains. But they've like 13 Ghosts was probably where they used the majority of them, and they actually kind of were their real versions of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, 13 Ghosts was like, oh, it's not actually masked villains.
It's real,
There's
like
actual ghosts. And, like, yeah, I mean, let's not really get into how bad 13 Ghosts actually was.
I actually like that. That's a conversation for another day, though.
I mean, you would. That's cool.
Of course you know.
Yeah, look, I certainly think that the consideration of piracy and spoilers is something that has to be taken very seriously under the circumstances when you're talking video on demand and so forth. And I think it means that you can't really risk doing a release outside of the U.S. You have to be in a position to be able to do it all,
right?
Or you've got to have video on demand as part of your rollout plan. I just think it's necessary,
be there.
or you're absolutely going to run. You ain't even gonna run the risk. You are going to have people that just pirate it because they're home not doing anything else anyway.
Right.
Big fact.
It's just
it is what it is. I mean, if anything, maybe just try to do it simultaneously for something and see how it works. If you're going to try to release it overseas just because things are a lot better over there right now in comparison to what it is over here, release it in theaters over there, and then over here give us a video on demand release. Obviously, I know times are different, whatever, but I think you could try that simultaneously and see how that works out. Because I mean, I'm sorry, there are some movies that if you tell me the UK, Japan are going to get them first, big titles, but I'm going to have to wait, and then no good as well. I'm going to hit Facebook, and there's going to be that one person, like there's always that one person that just decides. Shut up. I've gotten off of that. No, you're still holding on to me for that stupid Walking Dead thing that you did to yourself, so you shut your mouth.
No, you did it. Spoiler boy.
We're not going to that. You did that to yourself because I sent you specifically.
Spoiler boy.
No, I sent you something specifically to watch. But no, you go to a whole nother website to watch it, and you watch the entire thing. So shut your mouth. Gage, continue.
I'm going to say, but yeah, you're the one that says, hold up, I won't spoil us something, but let me tell you something real quick about it. All the time.
Let me spoil this. Shut up. Gage, back at it.
Hey, listen, for real, that wasn't even a spoiler because I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming. Hey, listen, I think for real, we're going to continue to see, because like we've had where the MCU has released films internationally like a week or more before it has come to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's happened But again, like knowing it's coming in like a week or so, like, nah, bro, I want to go to the theater and see it. And then as soon as I get done seeing it at the theater, second or third time, and I'm like, yeah, go ahead, let me just go find this joint.
Yep.
let me go get this Cody and get it popping. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like it is a thing. So I kind of want to move, since we kind of got into streaming services and how that's affecting things. I want to talk about how Watchmen picked up like 26 Emmy nods, which is
that's pretty solid. That is pretty solid.
I mean, HBO is known for getting, noms for the stuff that they have, but a comic book based, super powered based, racially charged show. Now it remains to be seen whether or not it takes any of them. That's a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
But nominations do count, I guess. And I think it's kind of a big deal that they got so many nominations.
Yeah. That was amazing.
On that note, Netflix as a whole snatched up like 160 nominations, and HBO snatched up 107. There was a time when streaming services were not considered TV enough to even get nominated.
All them
the
that
turnaround.
That Netflix.
I remember all them arguments they had about Netflix. I remember all them arguments. Yep.
They all rolling when that announcement came through. Like,
I'm pretty sure that a lot of it has to do with the fact that many well-known actors and actresses, whether they are known for being theatrical actors and actresses or television actors and actresses, have moved to getting paid and doing work. And you have many of the people who have been responsible, like Shonda Rhimes, for creating and getting nominations for network television for decades, moving into working with companies like Netflix and so forth, or writing only for those companies. That is a lot of what has pushed that envelope for them. Mandalorian grabbed 15 nominations.
Hey,
dig it.
Including Best Drama.
Ooh.
The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which is Amazon Prime, they came in second overall with 20 nominations. Ozark, Netflix,
I knew that was going to be
got 18 nominations.
Okay.
Look, I don't. Do award shows mean anything to y'all?
I mean,
personally, no, not like they used to.
Yeah, that's how I am too. Like
you go to sit down and watch the performances. Ooh, did my favorite? Like, nah, I don't care about none of that stuff anymore. I know what I like and what I'm into. If it happens to win an award and I hear about it, oh, friend, back. Ooh, like people getting on to it. But other than that, like I'm not tuning into award shows. I'm not sitting down to watch them.
What's different? Why did they used to be important to you and they're not now? What's different?
I'm older and I just don't care. I don't have the time to sit down and watch them. I don't have the time or patience to sit and watch. I got other things I'd rather be doing. I can easily just hear the highlights on the news in the morning on Facebook. Everybody talking about in the morning, like to sit there and watch it.
So the awards still matter. The show itself doesn't.
No, like if something I care about is up for it, it doesn't bother me if it wins or loses. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it. Like I don't care. If it does, cool. If not, whatever. I like the show.
Right.
Like,
and that specifically changed because you got old, is what you said.
Yeah, that just got older. Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, whatever.
Joe, what about you?
Like I don't tune in. I guess I don't tune in the way like I used to. Like back when I was younger, growing up. I don't want to necessarily contribute to me getting older, but it seemed like it was a thing to watch the award shows just to tune in and to kind of just be in with the hype and everything that was going on at the time. Kind of like I think the last award show that I really tuned into was at the Oscars when Black Panther got thrown up on there for a couple of nominations. I think that's probably the last time I really tuned in because I was into it to watch for see what Black Panther would do. But I don't know. It's just like it doesn't hit me. Sometimes you feel like, oh, you know what, X, Y, and Z is gonna win this. I don't really need to watch it. Like there's some categories that pop up that you just kind of off the top of your head know who's gonna win. Sometimes you may be wrong, which is a pretty interesting thing to watch. But
right.
I don't know. It just maybe to me it just doesn't have that. I don't want to say prestige because don't get me wrong. You winning like an Oscar, you winning a Grammy. That means a lot. That definitely means a lot. But I don't know. Kind of like what Sen said. Like I know what I like. So if X, Y, and Z wins, bet. But if they lose to something that maybe I feel as though wasn't up to caliber, I mean, it's not going to matter to anybody, some other people. But I don't know.
I will say one thing that does pique my interest when these award shows come around is like the movie that wins like Best Picture of the Year. I do like to know which one wins Best Picture, just in case I want to watch it just to see why they're saying this is the Best Picture of the Year type of deal. But not because I necessarily care, because there's stuff we go and see like, okay, wow, I thought that was amazing, but according to the Oscars or the Emmys or whatever, they're saying this is the one that was the best movie the entire year. Like, I like to know that just in case, I'm on a Plex one day and it's there and I'm bored. Like,
let me say this while you're on that. Maybe if I knew the specific, let's take movie of the year for example. Okay. Maybe if I knew what the specific criteria was that what, like, say the Academy or whoever considers what makes a movie of the year, maybe I would tune in a little bit more to really find that out. But I don't necessarily know what goes, because to me, from when a best movie a year for me may be different for you, Sin, may be different Gage. So for me, it could just be, it's a comic book movie. It's movie of the year. But
I think I'm looking at the comments and Jay Roberts saying that award shows are pointless. I mean, when Ricky Gervais and Seth MacFarlane host, Alfonso says they're not exciting anymore, which, I mean, I think that's part of it. Ellis says the content consumption has changed. Folks would rather consume the thousands of other value. So, and then Jay Roberts makes another good point that a lot of it is all political based. It's industry clicks.
So hey, we got spam. Hey, Hey guys, we're getting spam now.
Coming up.
We doing something right.
Ellen says he thinks movie awards and TV awards are different. I would agree with. I mean, look, I think music awards are the same way. I think that the actual act of watching the award shows has gotten boring and stale. And I think a lot of it is because it doesn't necessarily feel like we see really tight races, you know what I mean, between, oh man, I really like this show and I really like this show, and both of these shows are up for the same category. I just want to know who's going to get it. Again, if you already like both shows or if you already watch both shows, then it doesn't really do anything for you. I would agree with you, Sin, that I do think that there's something to be said for finding out a show you never heard of win some sort of award, and you're like, what is that? I never heard of it, and actually wanting to go check it out. And having access to do that. Because, it used to be something like the Emmys many moons ago when there weren't streaming services.
Yeah.
If a show got an award for something, it got it, and the season was over, and it was too late for you to do anything about it. It was too late for you to see it. It might mean going forward, you might decide you need to tune in to see what all the hubbub is about to the next season. Like, it might actually mean a big deal to those who are creating the show or making the show or deciding if a show should get greenlit for another season or, whatever it is, because, but now, I mean, if a show wins something, you can just go, all right, well, let me go watch it. Let me go check it out. Let me watch the first 2 episodes and see if it holds me. Let me find out whether or not it's actually worth it. And I personally think that, like, I'm not into, like, movie and TV show awards because there's really nothing to it. Like, I'm also not into movie stars. Like the the fanciful world of
Mhm.
movie stars and the glitz and the glamour doesn't really exist anymore because social media makes it so that
See it
you
all the
see what their
time.
lives are like on an
Yeah,
everyday,
See
regular
it all the
basis
time.
anyway, right? So
we
like,
have, we
oh,
have,
I
we have
follow so
access
and
to them all
so.
the time now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
what was
I
it?
already know what they're
Lifetime of the
wearing to
Rich
the
and
show.
Famous. Like when they was
I
going
already
through
know that
all the.
they're going. Yeah, like there's no
Yeah, back then,
reason
yeah.
to tune in. You used to tune in to see what the red carpet was going to be like and
Uh-huh.
who shows up with who, and you look at,
Yeah.
oh man, look, so and so sitting right next to so and so, and
Yeah, back in the day, it was
whatever.
all about the mystery of it. Ooh, what their lives
Yeah,
like. It's the mystery. Give you little windows to peek through here and there.
oh, that's going.
Now, yeah, now
Oh,
everything's
that's
flipped down. Now it's about I need to give as much accessibility to me as possible. So y'all need to see wherever I'm at and whatever I'm doing. Just times have
You
all
changed.
the
see it.
time.
Hmm.
All
Yeah.
the time. And I will say that if you are a person who is very into that, like I'm not, like there's nobody famous on social media who I follow and I'm like, oh man, you see what so and so did? Oh man, you know about that? Like it don't make
Yeah.
me no,
Yeah.
never mind. All it does is show me more that you're more like a regular person with a lot of money, like not like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the mystery of you being, and so I don't even have the, oh man, I was really, really pulling for so and so to win this award because it would really mean a lot for them to whatever. Because I don't get tied into that. Like, so that doesn't really
Right.
mean anything to me. Music awards shows are different to me because, like the Super Bowl, which I don't care about the game, I might watch for the commercials.
Hmm.
And really, I can watch all the commercials online anyway. Like, I don't really have to watch the
Mm-hmm.
game to do that. The music awards for a while for me were like, I want to see the live performances though.
Yeah,
You know what I
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like I like seeing the mashups and people come together and stuff like that. But even now, I don't have to do that. As soon as it's over, I can just watch
Just
the
go back
live
and watch it again.
performance
Yep.
that so and so did at the awards. The moment it's done, like I don't have to tune into the show. So for me, they could not air them and they could just announce who the winner is and they could mail them their Emmy. And I'd just be like, oh, for real? That's what's up. Bet.
Yep.
For real? Oh, that's a good show? I got Netflix. Let me check that joint out. You know what I'm
Somehow
saying?
time the
Yep.
delivery. So as soon as they announced that they got it, like there's just a knock at the door. Hey, here's your Emmy. Like, oh, wow, thanks. Hey, we need to shoot this
I
interview
mean,
with you right quick. What? I'm just in my pajamas right now. It's fine. Let's do this.
y'all see that? Jay Roberts said
Yeah,
a
I'm
movie
looking.
award, category votes for category. Everyone votes for best movie. So actors for actors, sound designers for sound designers, etc. Yes, you understand that? Does
I
that make
get
sense to
it.
you?
Mm-hmm.
It don't mean nothing to you. Not really. It's not. It's just it don't man. That doesn't really. It's not mean anything. I mean, look,
Not to me.
I
I mean, I
dig
get
that.
it. I
Jay
just, like I
Roberts.
said, I don't. Award
I mean,
shows
look,
that.
I think there's something to be said for awards that are given to people by their peers versus like a People's Choice Awards, or whatever.
Mhm.
I do think there's something to be said for those kinds of categories and what they mean. I just know that personally, um, it doesn't generally matter to me outside of stuff like this, like being able to talk about it
Yeah.
and like when there's a really major up and coming new actor, actress, person, whatever that's done some amazing work, like
Mm.
I do want to know that. I want to see that. I might go look into something that didn't get an award, but like this particular actor or actress got a major award or something like that. But I'm also the kind of person that believes that like when you give somebody like best actor or best supporting actress or whatever, that all of that's made up anyway. Because truthfully, you don't know if the credit for their acting job should go to the director for
Mhm.
directing it as well as possible, or for saying, you know what, do it again. You know what?
Hmm.
Do it again. You know what? Do it again. You know what? Another take. I liked it, but can you give me a little more of this? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You don't know how much somebody else's input actually affects what that actor gives you on screen,
Stop it,
let
Ellis.
alone
Stop it.
let alone how much the person who is doing the editing affects what you see as the final product when you sit
Sure.
down and you watch the film in the theater or whatever. As that person goes through take after take after take and angle after angle after angle and readjusts things and changes audio and makes it sound like this person who's giving this great monologue but they dropped the music out a little bit, so now it feels more powerful or whatever.
Yeah.
Like those things that make a great actor really are not truly, in my opinion, prevalent in film. They're prevalent on stage. So it's a little bit different. And but that comes from my personal music background in working and editing audio for people, doing music, and knowing that I'm working with people who aren't that good at at making music,
that makes completely
but
sense.
making them sound good.
No, that makes
Making them
complete
look
sense
good.
when you think about a director trying to get the actor to get exactly what they want out of them, and the actor's ability to bring that to life. The editing person,
Right.
You're right. Like I'll go back and watch like older stuff now, and from doing this like from so long with y'all and starting to learn some editing stuff, I'll sit there and be watching something I've seen a bunch of times, and it'll cut. I'm like, oh, what? That was
terrible.
That was horrible.
Yeah, it's been making my look. It be making me so mad. Like you're taking out the element. I'm just trying to enjoy this right now, but now I'm nitpicking and stuff. Like I hate that.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, but there's a reality to that, right? That it is there is a concerted effort, and that the person who is the actor or the name that gets top billing really does sell a movie and get people to come see it. But still, you have an actor there are actors out there who get paid. A Will Smith, for instance, makes more money per movie than almost every other actor there is, and probably pound for pound has equally the amount of bombs as he has hits. Still gets paid the amount of money because he's a draw, right? So if you would like to run down the list of great Will Smith movies, I will wait. There's not a lot of them. He's still like the highest paid actor in Hollywood. Tell me why. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes you will go through that list and look at like a Tom Cruise and find out that Tom Cruise always works with the same directors, always works with the same actors. Christopher Nolan works with the same actors, the same team consistently, right? Because they know each other, they understand how to get what they want out of each other. And so sometimes having a great director and a great person working your audio and doing your editing and doing your music. There's a reason why John Williams
is attached to everything.
You know what I mean? Like, there is something to be said for what the final product is and how that makes an individual or the overall look that a lot of times folks don't get credit for. You know what I mean? And so the Oscars that don't, or the Emmys that don't actually generally get televised for editing, for, you know what I mean, for all this stuff, all those names you see in the credit, all those are people that play a part in making that happen. You know what I mean? You have a bad sound man, you know what I'm saying, working the boom. It just be like, it could destroy the whole thing. You know what I mean? Or the person doing the editing has to go in and work so much harder to make that come out right.
Yeah.
So I think for me, having some level of an inside track when it comes to like just the kind of work that goes into making a final product, what the individual sees at the other end, makes me go, Slim might be a dope actor, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I don't really know. I like their work, but it's one of those things that got me more into specific directors than into specific actors. You know what I mean? So if I see if somebody is directing a certain film, I might be more inclined to watch it, even if I never heard of the actors or actresses that are in it. So yeah. You see that? Now, who is Marsha Lucas? J. Robert Deeds.
But they probably related to George.
I mean, the last name is right. I mean, again, it's just one of those things where, like, you're going to have people who don't. You will see upsets sometimes when there are awards and stuff like that you don't see coming because you only know what you like. I can remember specifically getting into it with people on Facebook. We won't talk about specifically what the award show was or who it was or whatever, but just that there were people who were upset because somebody won like Best New Artist that they had never heard of. I was familiar with them, and I totally agreed that based on everybody in that category, this was the Best New Artist. But most of the people who were watching were familiar with the person in that category who was the most well-known, but not necessarily the best artist.
Right.
Yeah, and so that kind of stuff, man, it happens. I think award shows are, eh, you know what I mean. Most of the time, you generally get paid more if you win versus. I mean, you get paid more for getting nominated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. You'll get more looks. More people will look at you, and that's really what the importance of it is to
Thing
the
is.
industry. I think more than anything.
I get its importance. I just
You
don't need to sit and watch it being televised. Like
are
yeah.
100% right. I'm good with seeing the list. Let me see the list.
Give me the list.
Yeah.
And like 50% of the names on the list, I won't know. I'll be like,
Yeah.
all right. I guess let me go look.
I get the time out in the morning and be like, what was my picture? Okay, cool. And keep it moving.
She was his ex. She edited Taxi Driver and worked with Scorsese.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Martin Scorsese, overrated. Let's move on. I
ain't gonna argue with it.
I know you're not. I know you're not.
Forget some.
I know you're not. I don't. Anyway, here's what I want to say. I'm betting Tenet gets a VOD release sooner than later.
Agreed.
Yes.
And I'm
especially if they're
dropping
it international, like you said. Yeah, then they
don't have to.
Yeah, there's no choice. There's no choice.
100% J. Robert Deans, Scorsese and Coppola, overrated. Not that they don't have some good work, just overrated. I think Disney is going to make a move that is going to be the kind of thing that also forces other people's hands. I think this Universal thing, Disney kind of holds so much power when it comes to theaters and what they show and how they show it and what kind of deals they do and how much of a percentage of ticket sales they get, that like I'm pretty sure we're going to see some movement there. And I think that the way that it is and will continue to affect their plans for Disney Plus is going to force their hand to move into VOD or something like that much sooner than they normally would have. Again, right now, hey, bruh, them toys out there spoiling Black Widow right now. Spoiling Black Widow right now.
Well, I'm glad I ain't seen none of them yet, and I'm staying away.
Bro, don't go to Target. I mean, go to Target.
Just
go to the grocery section. Don't walk through the toy section. Don't go to the video game section.
Don't go where the Funko Pops are. Stay away from the Funko Pops.
I was in there the other day and I picked up some snack bites for us, and I was walking down that way to get there. And of course, I'm like, I was like, I do need to pick up a joystick, but I'm gonna wait right now. Like, you want to go look at stuff? I was like, nah, I'm on my lunch break. Let me just go ahead and just go get these and get out of here. So I'm glad I didn't stop.
Don't stop. No Funko Pops. No action figures.
You know what I mean?
Got it.
Order it online and have it shipped, my guy. Stay away from them toys, bro. You go on Target.com, don't click the toy button.
Or if you're going into toys, you better type in specifically what it is you want.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, they out here ruining it for everybody. For everybody. And the toy company's like, man, we gotta make this money. So we putting these toys out. I don't even know. I mean, I guess collectors are probably buying them. You know what I mean? But like, kids don't care because they ain't seen nothing. They don't know.
They don't know.
If you don't put them toys, if you don't put Black Widow in Fortnite right now, Disney, so that these kids will go buy some Black Widow toys. Man, you kidding me, man?
They gonna give us the money so they can watch the Black Widow movie. You know.
Hey, look, you're right, Ellis. If they charge you $40, you gonna buy it. You gonna buy it. It's Disney. You gonna buy it. It's MCU. You gonna buy it.
Black Widow.
Yeah.
Anything that's connected to that, they got my money already. It's like.
And they almost I almost got this past week.
Oh.
I was this close to pushing the button on Hulu. This close, John. So close, bruh. And it was just because Zaina has been like binging a lot of anime hard, right?
Okay.
And I was like, man, you need to watch Samurai Champloo. She was like, what? And I was like, what did you say? You need to watch Samurai Champloo. I know it's got to be on Hulu. I mean, yeah, it's there. I was upset, though. Let me rant on this for a second.
Oh, got a rant.
I'm having issues with the availability of high-definition content that I'm looking for in a video-on-demand space, bro.
That
So
should not
I
happen.
recently purchased. Not that I don't already own Justice League seasons 1 and 2 and Unlimited 1 and 2 on DVD.
Same here.
But come on, man, that's standard def. We don't do that no more. Okay, we grew up. We don't do that no more. So I was on Amazon Prime watching something else. Watching Knives Out, something like that. I don't know. Anyway, happened to come across. Yes, it was. Happened to come across Justice League and was like, you know what? It might be nice to just, boom, grab this joint. So I looked at it and I was like, you know what? Before I grab this joint, let me just check and see if like Xbox Microsoft Store got a sale on it or something like that. Before I jump on Amazon, buy the joint, let me jump into one of these other joints and see. And so I looked at it and there was like a slight difference in price. Okay. The Xbox on Xbox, it was slightly less than it was on Amazon. And I was like, well, that's dumb. Clearly, I'm just gonna buy the joint on Xbox. That doesn't make any sense. But then something in my head was like, but why? Why is it more expensive here? Because it wasn't a sale or anything like that. I'm like, why is it more expensive here than it is on Amazon? So I clicked back over to Amazon and realized that Amazon had it in HD and the Microsoft Store only had
just
it in
regular
standard. And I was like,
about to get you.
Oh, well, that's easy. Amazon, bruh.
Right.
Pay that extra couple bucks.
But I started going down this rabbit hole of looking and doing research to try to figure out why certain video on demand places have standard def, some have HD, some have both, why you can't just get it, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, like who's doing these licensing deals and how minute are these deals that they're actually going, well, you can have it, but only in standard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do that. Blew me. So when I started going down this journey trying to find Samurai Champloo in HD, I could not find it anywhere.
Wow.
At all. You hear me? Like on Funimation, Hulu, like anywhere I could go where I could buy it to consume it, I could not find it in HD. However, I could find it on Blu-ray, which means it's available in HD. So I just say, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna watch that joint on Plex. I'm out of here. I'm done with y'all. I'm watch the joint on Plex, which I did, all 26 episodes, and enjoyed every minute of it, except some episodes are subbed and some episodes are dubbed. That drove me crazy enough to almost buy the joint in standard def. Almost.
I'll correct that. I'll try to correct that this evening.
Well, it's too late now. He already watched it, so it's like.
But it's still, it's one of his favorites. So whenever he wants to go back and watch it, you know.
Hey, listen, you're so right, J. Robert D. It drives me nuts that like I buy stuff from a video on demand place and it goes into my Movies Anywhere account, but that only works for movies and they don't have it for TVs. They need to fix that right away.
Oh, you mean what do you mean TV shows on?
To sit at home and make a TV anywhere so that my stuff I consume I can do the same thing with.
Agree with that.
With one account. It's driving me batty. So you could always watch the Guyver. I've seen the Guyver. The old Guyver, the original Guyver, not the new Guyver.
I've seen
it's not my movie. I know. And you regret some of it, I'm positive.
Yeah. Positive. A little bit.
The Mark Hamill. My man, he waiting for that Black Friday $1.99 a month on Hulu. Hey, look, you're right.
If they do that, I may jump back in.
Because it's too late for me to I'm already signed up for Disney Plus for multiple years. Mm-hmm. And I ended up getting ESPN Plus, which I wasn't going to keep. But them UFC joints, bro, I be needing them joints. I be needing them, bro.
Yeah, you ruined me when I come over and see them. Yeah,
I did use it to watch the Michael Jordan joint or whatever that was on there. That was great.
Okay, the Last Dance joint. All right.
But the inability for me to currently add Hulu as a part of that package without having to pay for it separately almost made me throw up. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not doing it. So I'm gonna watch it on Plex. But I seriously looked at Funimation like, you know what? Maybe I'll give Funimation my money. And then I looked at it and was like, they got a 30-day free trial.
Boom.
But then I was like, nah, because if I go in, I'm not paying you for a service and getting advertisements. That's not happening. If I do it, I gotta go all the way, no ads,
That's
sir.
how I am.
No, sir. Not doing that. I gotta be able to do it without the ads. So, hey, you never explained how you got to Scotland, Sin, on the Guyver.
The anime didn't. No, the anime didn't. That original one that I was talking about, they never talked about that on there. That was the part of it. And that one, there's no reference to it or anything. Like,
they only said it in Japanese. You couldn't understand it. It wasn't.
That thing was good.
Hey, look, check this out. We about to wrap this up.
Good greatness.
Couple things we want to drop on you guys. We are doing a panel this weekend, August 1st, Saturday at 12:15 for Otakon Online. It is our being comfortable, being a geek panel, which we have done before. But again, the idea behind this, aside from just trying to help people get comfortable in being a geek and kind of talk about those journeys, is to always try to bring someone else into the fold to discuss with us. And so we are fortunate to have Hilton George, who is one of the co-founders of BlurredCon, to participate with us this weekend in that. So if you're home on Saturday, please check out Otakon Online. We are along the main stage portion of it. I think we're going right before Super Art Fight.
Yeah, that's like right before Super Art Fight.
We have some good folks that participate in that, like Michael Bracco and so forth. So if you can, please tune into that. Tomorrow we will be back live in the evening to discuss video games. A lot happening there, so cutscenes going live tomorrow. We had to hold off on our impressions of Ghost of Tsushima, but we are going to get that squared away for you. We are putting a heavier focus on getting more video game content done. We are in the process of continuing to record some special shows for that, so keep your eyes open for that. Sin, you got the patrons open. Can you do that shout out for me real quick while I finish running through this? Speaking of the patrons and Patreon, we are getting ready to do our first fundraiser that is specifically for us. If you look at Sin's shirt, you will see he's got on the Loading Snacks versus Autism shirt. We have, over the years, done multiple times Loading Snacks versus Autism versus breast cancer versus leukemia. We have done Extra Life for Children's Miracle Network, hospitals. We have consistently worked to try to fundraise for causes that we feel like are important. And so this is the first time we're really doing something for us. And to do so, we are going to be selling shirts. These are going to be one-of-a-kind, one-off shirts. We are doing a limited quantity. Shirts will be $30. Those who are Patreon supporters will have first dibs. For 1 week, it will be open to you guys. Look for that to go live on Sunday, August 2nd. Prior to that, we'll be able to show you a prototype, what the shirt's going to look like, but they are going to be handcrafted tie-dye shirts, so everybody's shirt is going to be a little bit different. Shirts will be $30. And they are going to be gone when gone. So if somehow Patreon manages to get all the shirts before,
y'all better jump in Patreon. Y'all better sign up there, cause
But it is just kind of another way to thank those who are patrons of ours for being at the forefront and kind of and being the ones to kind of help us be able to keep doing what we're doing with this.
Yeah.
So we are.
Hey, J. Robert,
What's
go
up?
ahead. Why not? You're talking about Apocalypse War. Go ahead and throw what you thought about Apocalypse War in there right quick. I know we didn't get to talk about that last week. Go ahead.
You throw it in there.
Yeah, go ahead and talk about what you think about it.
I'll give a shout out to our patrons who are supporting us at the highest level. Ellis, of course, always in the chats. Thank you for supporting us. Anthony Cunningham, Mrs. Susan Dorch, Tyrone Carson. I don't know why I keep calling Tyson when I get that. I always do that for some reason.
You think about Tyson's chicken? Black.
Whoa, J. Robert said weak. Week for Apocalypse War? Oh, we're gonna have to have a whole. I think we're gonna have to have Jay Robert on and talk about Apocalypse War.
That's week.
I think this is about to be a whole.
Where's the kick from the chat button? I can't find it right now.
Man, did you get everybody?
I did.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah. Man, Apocalypse War is weak. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that right now. That's just he just trying to start a fight.
That's a major fight.
I don't want y'all to go yet. I don't want y'all to go yet. Let me say something wild and crazy. Keep them on for longer. I know what it's gonna be. Hey, that show was weak.
Hey, listen, I am totally open to having that discussion in the future. Hey, not today. I was thinking it was gonna be something simple, like, oh yeah, the joint was clean. Oh yeah, I like that part too. Weak? Nah, you trying to start the course like
one word.
For like an hour. We can't do that right now. We got to try out this grounded or something. We got some games and stuff that popped up we need to work out. So that we're ready for tomorrow. Again, cutscenes tomorrow, 8:00 live. Anime Vote is done. If you didn't watch all 6 episodes, please go back and check those out. Please share those. We can certainly use the additional views and so forth. So don't be afraid to like and share those things. It does mean a lot to us.
Season 2 is currently under construction.
I hear that. Also, again, Saturday, August 1st, 12:15, Otakon Online, being comfortable being a geek with Hilton George. So make sure you tune in for that. And then for the patrons, make sure you are looking Sunday for it to go live for you guys to be able to get your hands on shirts. And again, there will be a post prior to that so you can get an idea of what the shirts look like and so forth. We had a chance to see prototypes. I think it's going to be dope. So we'll put that out to you guys for a week going into August. And then we are looking to do some of our regular fundraisers going forward as well for breast cancer and so forth. So having said that, we're going to wrap this one up. Cool. I want to thank everybody for watching and for participating. I want to thank those who are watching but not participating because that's not everybody's thing. Please continue to stay safe, wear your mask, and so forth.
It's
coming. It's coming. I actually think we're going to craft that either tonight or tomorrow, and you should be able to get your eyes on it probably Thursday or Friday, at least. Good. And you know what? We might just do it live tomorrow while we do cutscenes. That's probably what's going to happen.
Hey, why don't we? I said we kick off the show with it. So Alfonso, we'll just kick off the show with it tomorrow.
All right. Go. See what Alfonso did? Changing the show. All right, change the show. Now I got to go back and redo my outline, Alfonso.
Screw your outline.
It's cool because I gotta update the outline up to the last minute all the time because that's how shows like these
Build
work.
a plan goes sideways, throw it away.
Appreciate all y'all. For myself, for Jokes, for Sin. We love you guys. We are out. Toodles and loos. What it do, snackers and snackettes? Did you like what you just saw? Would you like to help us grow? Here's what you can do. Shoot over to patreon.com/loading snacks. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on your favorite platform of choice. Appreciate you.